What are 7 surprising triggers for premature wrinkles? Number 1, this one blew my mind. Negative mindset and depression, which leads to you frowning a lot of the times. In a March 2009 study in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology, researchers found that when people had their frown lines treated with Botox, the paralysis of those facial muscles prevented them from transmitting negative mood signals to the brain, which correlated with an upturn in their mood. Another study in the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry in August 2014, they got people with major depression and they gave them Botox in their foreheads, and the ones who got the Botox saw a 42% reduction in their depressive symptoms after 12 weeks. Now, what if you don't want to get Botox? I still don't have Botox and I'm 37 years old. So if we don't want to get Botox, or at least we want to push it as far into the future as humanly possible, then at least be aware of your disposition. For me, a huge reason how I was able to overcome my anxiety and chronic depression was mindset work. And I put everything that really helped me in my guide, Monster Mindset. And if you want more information than just the psychological stuff that I did to help me, I also raised my baseline dopamine levels as I outlined in my brain rehab protocol, Dopamine Brain, and the guide Monster Mind, the supplement. So these 3 are powerhouse guides that are going to transform your mental health. That took me decades to learn everything that I put in those guides. So hopefully that can be helpful for you instead of getting Botox. Number 2, yo-yo dieting. The constant stretching and contraction of your skin will weaken elastin. You can use retinols and peptides to help prevent the stretch marks and the wrinkles, but I think the yo-yo dieting is really where I specialize in treating, and that's simply a symptom of food addiction. And the food addiction comes from low baseline dopamine levels. So again, my guide, Dopamine Brain, teaches you how to raise your baseline dopamine levels, not just normal dopamine. You want to raise the baseline, because that is truly the way that you target the root cause of food addiction, so that you're not constantly yo-yo cycling or your weight going up and down as the years go on. Number 3, seed oils. Seed oils are things like sunflower oil, safflower oil, canola oil, grapeseed oil. Those are the worst possible oils that you can put in your body. When I used to teach at at Miami-Dade College, I used to show my students how those seed oils are made. If you just go on YouTube and you put that in the search bar, you will get probably the first video is like a 3-minute video that shows you all of the disgusting processing that goes through, from deodorizing the oil and all the chemicals that they add, and the bleaching of the oil and all the chemicals that they add to make it. You will be traumatized after you watch those 3 minutes, and then you'll understand why this is possibly the worst food item to ingest. And worst of all, consuming seed oils increases photosensitivity of the skin, and so then you increase the frequency and the intensity of the sunburn and sun damage from the sun, and that's going to increase wrinkles and pigmentation changes as you age. Number 4, corticosteroids. Those are drugs that you're taking if you have asthma or rheumatoid arthritis. So whether you're taking corticosteroids as an oral pill or as a cream topically applied, that can also decrease collagen and elastin, and it can decrease the thinness, so it can thin out your skin, and it can make blood vessels prone to rupturing more easily, leading to broken capillaries. And so for this reason, it's really helpful to understand that a carnivore diet can treat the root cause of all of these health conditions. And if you want a free guide to get you started on a carnivore diet, or to understand why it's so powerful to go back to the diet that we ate for 99.99% of our existence as a species here on Earth, I will send you the free guide, 30-day carnivore diet challenge, if you sign up to my newsletter within 24 hours of this YouTube video going live. The link to sign up to my newsletter is in the description box below. Number 5, certain antibiotics and some blood pressure medications like ACE inhibitors and diuretics and anti-seizure medications. All of those can cause photosensitivity. So again, your skin becomes really sensitive to the sun, which leads to premature wrinkles and pigmentation changes. So again, we go back to treating the root cause of the health conditions. Keto, carnivore, those things are really powerful interventions. I actually caution my clients when they go keto or carnivore to really be careful if they're taking blood pressure medication, because your blood pressure is going to regulate so quickly once you eliminate the carbohydrates that if your blood pressure now is normal, but you're taking medication to lower it even more, then we can have a medical emergency in our hands. So it's that powerful of an intervention. Number 6, being a frequent flyer. The sun's UV rays are way more intense at higher altitudes, so this is why your skin may burn more easily if you're up in the mountains. And so now if you're flying frequently, your skin has to contend with a double whammy of dehydration thanks to the plane's dry air and sun damage because UV rays are penetrating through the plane's windows. Glass windows or any kind of window does not filter out the harmful UVA rays. That's the one that's responsible for the wrinkles. And so the more frequently you fly, the more you're exposed to those UVA rays. And this might explain why flight attendants have an increased risk for melanoma or skin cancer. I found the study really interesting. They measured UV radiation in the pilot seat of a turboprop airplane, and they found that flying under 1 hour at 30,000 feet had the same UVA carcinogenic radiation exposure as a 20-minute tanning bed session. Higher altitudes also mean you're more exposed to cosmic radiation, which is a high energy radiation normally filtered by the time it reaches the earth, but not as much when you're up in the sky. So if you fly a lot, then pay attention to your hydration. Don't overdo things that are diuretics like caffeine. Use sunblock and close the plane windows. And it might be helpful to look into a retinoid cream at night as well, because that can stimulate collagen production, which can help offset the skin thinning and all the other undesirable changes. And the last one, number 7, highly processed or sugary foods. This isn't really that surprising, but it is so important, such a big factor for premature wrinkles that it's worth mentioning here. Eating a lot of processed foods or sugars and carbohydrates, because carbs turn into sugar almost immediately in your body. That can also cause dramatic spikes in your blood sugar levels and your insulin levels, which can trigger chronic low-grade inflammation at the cellular level. That also leads to something called glycation, whereby the sugar attaches to proteins in your cells and membranes. And now you have something called AGEs, or advanced glycation end products. This leads to a degradation in collagen and elastin, which leads to stiffer and less functional collagen. And now you also get saggy skin on top of wrinkles. A fun fact here is that eating red meat provides you with a lot of carnosine, and carnosine is a molecule that can actively untangles the sugar from the protein, and it basically reverses the glycation that happens from a history of eating a lot of carbohydrates and sugars. I have an old YouTube video, old by YouTube standards, probably like a year or 2 ago, where I talk about carnosine and red meat and how that can reverse wrinkles. So if this kind of stuff is interesting to you, my guides, Dopamine Brain and the Monster Mindset Guide and Monster Mind, the supplements, all those things, is probably like the best trifecta that would go into addressing the topic of this video. Check them out on my website, DrZaldivar.com/shop. All right, I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed this kind of content, let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell icon so YouTube alerts you every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.